Welcome, everybody, to my post-game reaction from a different location, and that is strictly because I do not feel like getting up or putting on pants. So here we go. Sabres lose 3-2 in a shootout. Honestly, not mad at all. How can you be? I tweeted it out right before I decided to go live. This team is officially starting to look like a family. When I say that, you see the way they talk to each other. They're embracing each other. Like, I know with that hit on Duane, there wasn't an immediate reaction. I think because there's a guy, because of the person on the ice, you didn't get the reaction you wanted. But you got to respect what Tage Thompson did. You was like, enough is enough. The guy, he got lit up, but, he stuck up for his team. Even Matt Irwin, these guys are starting to fight for each other, and that is the one thing that has been missing for such a long, long, long time. Yes, Casey, you are my family. Casey, former coach, also a coach, a guy I coached with for years. I love you, buddy. You are my family too. But this team is starting to look like a family, and that again is like legitimately the biggest thing that has been missing for such a long, long time. And it whether it's laying somebody out because of a hit, even if the hit's clean, if it's not a certain person on your team like a Dahlin, like an Eichel, like a Sam Reinhart, it doesn't matter if it's clean or not. Go hit them. Go do something about it. Show teams that you're not willing to be pushed around like that, whether it's in your building or theirs, because teams are just going to continuously take liberties with you, and you can't have that. I repeat, you cannot have that. So with that being said, I am ecstatic with the way this game went. Yeah, we didn't get the win. Yeah, you would have liked to have beaten Taylor Hall. But you know what? Taylor Hall looked like shit. I'm sorry, he did. I try my best to clean up my language during these post-game reactions, but he did not look good at all tonight. He didn't really have any grade A chances. You kept him contained. Maybe that, for personal reasons with this team, maybe that in particular was like a point for some of these guys going forward. It's like, let's not give Taylor Hall too many chances. There's so many dangerous players on this team, like Pasta, like Marchand, DeBrusque, Bergeron, McAvoy, so many to name. But you didn't allow Hall to get loose or do anything, that would hurt you in this game. So I am more than happy with that. I am not happy with the way things went at yesterday's deadline and the night before on deadline eve. Obviously, we learned more yesterday with how that all really went down. We kind of backed ourselves into a corner with his no movement clause. I think Taylor Hall, even when he signed here, knew that if he was getting dealt at the deadline where he wanted to go. Elliot Friedman let everybody know yesterday at NHL Network that he was actually in discussions with Boston before he signed with Buffalo. And the only reason he didn't sign with Boston because there were too many pieces Boston needed to move around in order to fit him underneath the cap. So, with that being said, I couldn't be happier with the way they played tonight. And you know what? Just like, most of us were Josh Allen apologists, I am going to be a Casey Middlestat apologist. I absolutely apologize for the way I've spoken about Casey Middlestat, because now under Don Granato, the guy has just been a different player. And I can't stress enough, man, it's been a breath of fresh air. Even the way Tage has played, Skinner has honestly come alive here and there under Don Granato. I couldn't be happier enough with the way this team has played. I mean, even, Ristolainen has fallen off ever since McCabe has gotten hurt. But McCabe, Ristolainen didn't even piss me off tonight. This team is, again, starting to look like a family. And it's I think things can just keep going up from here. You hope Linus Ullmark isn't hurt long term. The guy seems like glass. Like, I feel so bad for him. He can't go 4 or 5 games without getting hurt. And it kind of scares you a little bit because, you've taken the guy and his agent for their word about working out a deal here going into the offseason and keeping him in Buffalo. Now he's hurt again, and maybe any trade value you could have had with Linus Ullmark could be gone. And it's a scary thing because you never want to lose something for nothing. And I don't know. I just I hope that we we make the right decisions with Ullmark. I hope we don't overpay him too much. And anybody who listens to two goalies on Mike knows that I am not a huge advocate of overpaying goalies. I think what Thatcher Demko got in Vancouver was quite a bit. I'm not a big advocate of paying goalies anything more than 6.5. I think he got 5 for 25. It's that's just me though. I just don't think Ullmark has proven enough that he can stay healthy long enough to earn that type of money. So with that all being said, guys, I just can't stress it enough. This team has looked so much better and different, and you have to remember we're without Jake McCabe. Will Borgen's still out for a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure he wasn't out there. Yeah, Will Borgen's still out for a little while. You're seeing good things out of guys like Jacob Bryson. And the biggest thing, you don't have Jack Eichel in the lineup right now. And that's your captain. That's the best player in your team. And you add him to the mix, and you make the right moves in free agency. You make the smart moves in free agency. You try and blueprint what the Florida Panthers did this last free agency period. You spend your money wisely, because $10 million can go a long way. It can bring you 3 pieces in that can help your team a lot in the short term. You're going to see a lot of short-term contracts for low amounts of money signed this offseason. Like Carter Verhaeghe, I know there was announced that he's out week to week, but the guy has been lights out for Florida. He's making $1 million a year. Signed a 2-year deal for $2 million. Duclair, 1.7. They're getting, those 2 guys would be top point scorers on this team, on this Sabres team right now, and they're only paying both of them a total of $2.7 million this year. So you have to make those right decisions in free agency. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're thinking ahead, but that's just what's on my mind right now, guys. I appreciate you guys popping in with me. Again, normally after a loss, I'm pulling my hair out of my head, but I was happy with this tonight. This was a good Boston Bruins team. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Granted, I would like to be the team that knocks them out, especially now with Taylor Hall a part of that. So that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you guys all get a good night rest. And, we'll see you next game night. I'm looking forward to it, because these kids, they're really, really, really getting me to, not feel as depressed and want to watch this hockey team. As bad as things have been, as bad as that trade deadline went for us, I'm extremely happy with the way they played. And just remember, guys, it's a slow but sure process. I know we hate having to be this patient all the time, but I call this the optimistic Sabres fan in me, but I think you could see a successful team that might push for a playoff spot sooner than you think. If you make the right moves in free agency, if you draft high and you have a good draft, I think you could be. I'm not saying they're making playoffs next year. I'm not going to get that ahead of myself. But if you make the right moves in free agency, if you make the right trades, and you stay healthy next year, I think with the way these kids are playing, Asplund, Ristolainen, Middlestat, even Tage, Cousins, of course, we might be pleasantly surprised of how competitive this hockey team is next year. With that being said, I'll leave it to you guys. I know you guys are calling. No, we're not going to be competitive for 5 years. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm just a little high off just this performance I saw against a very good Boston Bruins team. So with that being said, guys, again, have a good night. Stay safe, and before I get out of here, Granados need to do more. With the roster he has right now, I don't know what more you could ask of Don Granato. He's gotten so much out of Rasmus Dahlin that Ralph Kruger wasn't getting. You look what Casey Middleton has had 7 points in the last 5 games, or what was it? I think it was five goals and it was 5 goals in those 7 games, whatever it is. He's getting so much out of guys that we were getting nothing out of before. So I'm happy with what Don Granato's done. Again, guys, leave your comments underneath the video. Make sure you're following Trainwreck Sports. Make sure you get over to Amherst Ale House. Obviously, you can see on the ticker, half off Labatt Blue and Blue Light, Molson Canadian, Coors Light pitchers during all Sabres games at Amherst Ale House. Make sure you get there. Unbelievable food, wings, pizza. Give them a shot, and go check out those drink specials. Have a good night, guys. And 3 words, let's go Sabres.